Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the channel. I'm back in Indiana after my family trip to Okinawa, Japan. And I'm actually sitting out here. I'm kind of hiding under this mulberry tree with the chickens. I do live in a city, and even though I have a forest, it's still a baby forest, so on my security wall of different pine trees and other evergreen trees isn't up. So it's kind of awkward sometimes recording videos when you have neighbors outside on their porches. And if I keep reaching down, it's because I have little baby bees. They keep kind of tickling my legs, so you have to bear with me on that. But what this video is about is trying to kind of talk through some of the motivations for even having a YouTube channel, of growing a food forest, of having yappy chickens, all those kinds of things. And it actually comes down to really just having the right motivations. For example, I would say the number one reason for me having a YouTube channel was to stay in touch with family. I would say there was another motivation was to make a whole bunch of money, which has not happened. I do have just over 2,000 subscribers, and I'm pretty happy with that. Would like to see that number grow, but I'm not monetized or anything like that. Another motivation would be it's just a challenge. It's hard. I was just thinking as I was setting up this tripod that I really need to invest in a better tripod because it kept falling down on my face. So just a couple of investments on that. But a lot of them is kind of similar to just growing the food forest itself. Just like there's difficulties and things to learn in film management, editing, sound production, which phone to use, which camera to use. Should I get a camera? Should I get wireless mics? Should I do all these things? What kind of transitions? I have gotten better in my filmmaking and my speaking, my speed, things like that. Actually, not using verbal pauses. All those different things are things that I've had to learn. Just like with gardening, I've had to learn whole different things about soil structures and microbiology and sunlight exposure. What actually is a full day of sun is not apparently not 14 hours of direct sunlight in Indiana. It's more like 8 to 10 hours, hopefully with a little bit of dappled shade. That would be full sun. And one of my chickens does like to stand on that hail bale and squawk at me, and that's just what she does. Unless you look at her, apparently. So especially coming back after the trip, I can notice a lot of the plants that have grown. I can see the state of my YouTube channel. I can see a lot of different things in my life, and it's kind of a good time. Vacations are like that. You get to step away from your regular hustle and bustle. I get to come back and kind of refocus my attention on YouTube, on gardening. I'm enrolled in the Jeff Lawton's Permaculture course. I also have my final 2 classes from my sustainability degree that I'm enrolled in now. That just started a couple of days ago. So it's a good time to just make a short list of tasks around the gardens and a couple other things in my life just to get ready for the winter. But it is really important. I wanted to kind of stress this in this video, is the motivations. The search for money in a YouTube channel. If I had really wanted that, if that was my primary motivation, I would have ran out of steam a long time ago, because I'm coming up on my 4th year and I haven't made any money. I haven't really tracked how much I've spent either, so it's kind of a wash, and it's been more interesting and fun than anything else. So whether I get monetized or not is not really the main thing, but using this video to share my thoughts, hopefully share some information with you guys so you can see how I've made my track has gone, how I started from just not mowing my grass about 4 years ago after buying this house, to 4 years where it's like almost like a jungle, even though my pathways are super extra wide. And there's really a lot of simple motivations basically for having a food forest. Like, what do I want to do? I want to be more self-sufficient. I want to be more independent. It's nice being able to go to different stores and stuff, but it wasn't too long ago when all those were closed down, and I was eating cans of Dinty Moore beef stew and shells and cheese, and wondering if I had enough water in my closet. Just all sorts of crazy things. So growing my own food in a sustainable way where I can leave for 3 weeks like I just did, and the ecosystem is probably happier that I'm not here. You know, it's happy to grow in all the empty spaces that I like to have, so I can move around as a human. But and it really is an interesting motivation, because one of the just random ideas kind of that I had 4 years ago was I was looking out at this, this great big half-acre lot behind a house I just bought, and I was wondering why did I just cut all that grass? Like, I'm not gonna go out there and play catch by myself. I'm not gonna put in a swimming pool. I was just looking at all this space that basically I only went to my backyard when I was mowing it, and I was riding a lawnmower, and that was it. I cut the grass every 5 to 7 days, just like my neighbors did, and that was it. So I had the idea that wouldn't it be nice so I could just walk out of my door and like grab an apple from a tree. That was the only thought I had. And then everything got shut down. I started watching YouTube videos and found permaculture and regenerative grazing and sustainable agriculture and all these different things. And it seemed kind of, I don't know, foolish or strange or goofy to me that in just a couple of generations from being able to know what plants were edible and like how to grow plants and what plant, I didn't know the difference between an annual and a perennial. I knew that apples were a thing. I'd never really had a peach unless it was in a little cup with syrup in it. To where I am today, where I know a little bit more. I've planted some stuff and I've taken some cuttings and gotten those to grow for me. I've eaten some of my own produce. I mean, we were just snacking on blackberries just a couple weeks ago. And we still have tomatoes coming in. We're going to be making our first tomato sauce. So it's a slow process, but I really did start from zero. And the main thing was being independent. Can I go back to a more simple way of life? Because I could actually view my food forest and food production as an investment. Now versus, I've seen some good videos from guys like Canadian Permaculture Legacy, and there's a lot of other ones, David the Good, all these other guys, they really talk about if you plant a tree, it grows in value. It's basically what it does. That's why if you buy a 1-year whip, it might cost you $10, $20. But if you buy a 7 foot tall 3-year-old tree, it's going to cost you $150. And they might mail it to your door, and it might have apples that day. Because basically what you're paying for is time, and that's all investments are, is you're going to trade some time for some value at the end of it. Because I put money in CDs before and had some money in stocks, and they didn't always go well. The CDs, of course, gave me the 3% return or whatever it was, but I lost out on that money for a year, 2 years, 3 years. And then as far as investments, if I was just in the wrong economic cycle, I could lose all the money, or I could double my money or triple my money, which is I'm a lot more risk averse now. I would rather buy a few trees and know a little bit more of the soil and do some mulching and things like that and increase my chances to about like 95% that all my plants are going to grow, versus putting it in a stock market or anything risky like that. Like, I'm not a betting man. I don't gamble. I play some fantasy football. We got a little buy-in going, but that's pretty small bucks. That's small pennies. That's what, half of a lunch today if I go to the restaurant is the buy-in for this fantasy football thing. So I'll stick with planting berry bushes and fruit trees and all that stuff. That's a much more sound investment. And I've been lucky. I have this property and I have another small single lot on the other side of town, and that, as a showcase property, it's been amazing. It's been really interesting to see how really going full bore on sheet mulching and wood chips has increased the sustainability and the growth of everything. I think everything in my backyard food forest probably has half the growth rate of anything at that other property, and that other property is far from ideal. It's the center of that property is like a glass concrete basement pit that they just threw some dirt over. Like, it's not good at all. And it's in a much smaller community, like a much tighter community, with who knows what's been sprayed on what weeds and all that stuff for a couple decades. So it's really been interesting seeing all that. And I realize that this is actually it's a bit of a different video for me. I rarely just sit down and talk in front of the camera. I try to be moving and show you some stuff in the background, because stuff in the background might be more interesting in what I'm saying. But it's helped me to get some of these thoughts out. Maybe some of you guys can look at some of the motivations for just gardening is fine. I mean, we don't have, this is a gardening channel. I of course am more interested in a lot more things, and the idea of finding motivation and value in our choices and our life decisions and stuff is an interesting topic. But I've always found that, just like with this YouTube channel or just with gardening, if I can layer different goals or reasons or meanings behind things, like if I start a YouTube channel, it never really goes anywhere, but a couple people get helped, that's fine. Like, I've made a couple of videos that were specifically made because I couldn't find the information that I needed, like some of these dry pour concrete method, building this chicken coop, some of the cuttings videos that I've done. Like, I did those because I had to research really hard and take some sustainability classes and become a master gardener and take a Jeff Lawton permaculture course to find out some of this information when I could just make a video. So I made a video and shared that. So that was one of those reasons. Maybe someday I'll become rich and famous on YouTube. It's on my vision board, so it must happen one of these days. But some of the comments, it's really interesting to talk to, hearing some of the comments on the videos that I make. The shorts have been really exciting. Those have gotten me a lot of subscribers, a lot of views. Learning more about technology. I've always been good at, navigating Microsoft Word and Excel, things like that, but I've never been a photo editor. I've never made logos. I've never done any of these things. I've never, gone on to Pixlr and made a YouTube thumbnail and worried about contrast and brightness levels and all these different things. So while it's been difficult, it's been valuable because I get to exercise my own mind. I get to expand my horizons, try to make a product that I'm proud of, and I can see the results and the subscribers. And really, I'm pleased to actually say that a lot of the videos that I make now, I sit down and I actually watch them and I enjoy them. Like, even after recording them, after planning them, recording them, editing them, rewatching them again, and then uploading them, I'll go back a couple days later and I'll just see if I can watch the video by myself like I would any other. And I've found that I've actually enjoyed watching them, even though I know it's coming, right? So that's been a really good sign for me, because it's, in the past, maybe a year and a half ago, it was like a struggle. Just, all right, Jim, like, let's keep talking, okay. And really, another thing about me is I've always been bad at taking pictures. Like, on this last vacation, I really didn't take that many pictures. I'm more trying to be in the now, this power of now stuff, or living in the moment, or one moment at a time, one day at a time, this type of thing. And so I've never really been good at that. So one of the reasons why I even made my very first video, where I did a walk around the property and I had like an overhead thing showing like the dimensions and all that, was just so I had something to show my family when I went to go visit. And then I posted on YouTube. I was like, well, that's really cool. I can share that with everybody else. And it has the great added benefit of being able to showcase or track the progress of all that stuff behind me. Because I just left for 3 weeks and came back, and I can see that there's a difference. But I was just watching a video from last year, and everything back there is monstrous compared to last year. And I thought everything last year was monstrous. So it's really cool to be able to watch, just go from walkthrough video in 2022 of June, and then look at June of 2023, and then June of this year, and it's just amazing to see what's come up, what has really flourished, I suppose, in this setting. And YouTube really is, if nothing but a time capsule. It really is a fully fledged 1080p UHD option for those who just want to have a time capsule of tracking memories. So I have a bunch of other videos that, of course, I haven't uploaded on YouTube, just to showcase that. Like, I have a lot of stuff around my personal life that I get to look back at a couple years ago, and things like Google Photos is really cool. I think Apple probably has something about that. Like, memories will pop up. You'd be like, oh, 2 years ago I was doing that. Like, that was only 2 years ago? Like, it feels like 5 or 10 or 15. So it's cool to see the timestamps and see how things have progressed. So I'll probably leave you with this, because you guys have been staring at my face and these chickens doing whatever they've been doing the whole time. I did want to say that if you guys are interested in getting chickens, you don't need to go this monstrous. I really do think that just getting a smaller chicken coop, and getting a small enclosure and getting a couple of chickens to see if you even like it, because I can incorporate them into a food forest thing. I can use their manures, I can do all these different things, I can feed them pretty cheaply. We use pellets, but I mean, I just cut branches off and they just give them to them. They eat them, you know, and they eat worms and all that stuff. But they've done really well in this setting. We plan on actually getting, I almost got another 4 chickens like before I went on my vacation, but we don't want to feed 4 more chickens over the winter. We'd rather just keep what we have right now, get some more in the spring, and then by midsummer they'll be laying eggs. And we plan on getting a different color. So this year was all black, and then next year, I don't know, maybe we'll get pink or something. I don't know what chickens are. They got 18,000 million gazillion types of chickens, but whatever Rural King has on that day, the prettiest ones, probably Americanas, that's what we're gonna get. So I want to thank you for watching, and I will go in and edit this, and because I'm a good YouTuber, I might come out and do some more videoing, but either way, this will be the last you see of me. So thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye.